Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy for Civil Services. Let us discuss today the Hindu newspaper of Delhi edition. Along with that, we are going to discuss about the important topic from the Press Information Bureau, All India Radio, and vocabulary for the day. Right, let us start the Hindi news analysis. The first topic that we are going to discuss about the GDP. Related to this GDP, what exactly the context is? GDP expanded 6.1 percentage in 2022-23 last quarter. So what exactly the context is? Our country's GDP growth accelerated to 6.1 in the January to March 2023 quarter, right? Lifting the economy's expansion in 2020-23 to 7.2 percentage from 7 percentage, which was estimated 7 percentage, but most probably expansion to 7.2 percentage according to the provisional national income data released by the National Statistical Office. This is what the exact context is about. Here you can see a topic called revised GDP and GVP. Okay, so the NSO, that is National Statistical Office, also revived GDP and GVA numbers lower for the first half of last year. So that also got bumped up. So in this particular article, we need to understand a few background information for to ease go of this topic, right? So first one is about GDP. It is your value added. GDP measures the monetary of all final goods and services, right? Those are brought by the final user that was produced in the country by a given time period. So we need to understand there is four key of this GDP as a engines. We can call it as engines of GDP growth. See, all the money lenders spent for their private consumption. Money lenders spend for their private consumption, which is known as private financial consumption expenditure. Second thing is about all the money the government spent for the current consumption, which is known as GFCE, that is government final consumption expenditure. Third engine, which is known as all the money spent towards the investment to boost the productivity capacity of the economy, all the money for the investment, that which is known as GFCE, that is gross fixed capital expenditure. Again, it comes under that only. Fourth one is about the net effect exports. Net effect of exports. What foreigners spend on our goods and imports, what Indians spend on the foreign goods, which is known as net exports. Right. So based on this only, there is a calculation for the GDP. So GDP, which is equal to the private consumption, gross investment, government spending plus exports and imports. So all these were calculated as a GDP growth of the economy. Right. So now the second one is about the GVA, which is known as gross value added. This calculates the same national income from the supply side. Okay, from the supply side. It does by adding up all the values added across all the sectors. According to the Reserve Bank of India, the GVA of a sector is defined as the value of output minus the values of intermediary inputs. So the value added is shared among the primary sectors of production, labor, and capital. So these are all the two important scenario that you need to understand regarding this particular topic. These two are related. So how these two are related is very important for us to understand as well. So how these two are related? The GDP is derived by looking the GVA data. Remember, the GDP is derived from the data of GVA. So the GDP and GVA are related. this equation. How that works? GDP, which is equal to GVA, plus tax, which is earned by government, minus subsidies provided by the government. So if the taxes earned by government and more than the subsidies, if provides, the GDP will be higher than the GVA. Right? This is how the two terms got related to each other. So add on to that, one national statistical, office also there for your preparation. Let us have a look of that particular topic. I'm just going to give you the importance of this NSO. This NSO comes, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation is a ministry, government of India concerned with the coverage of quality aspects of the statistics related. So the survey conducts by the ministry are based on the scientific sampling methods as well. So the ministry has two wings. One is related to statistics, another one is related to program implementation. The statistic wing, which is popularly called as NSO, that is National Statistical Office, consists of CSO, Central Statistical Office, and the National Sample Survey Office. So on 23rd May 2019, the government merged the NSSO with CSO to form the National Statistical Office. This is your basic information, right? Moving towards the next article of the day, which is related to the national education policy. See, before going into that, I want to give you some gist as well. This news is about Arvind Kejriwal to meet Stalin, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, Soren over the ordinance. You know about Delhi Chief Minister is seeking support from the different states that government is going to ordinance on control over the administrative service in the national capital. So he just wanted to seek a support related to the verdict given by the Supreme Court in terms of the power over administrative in the national capital territory. Okay. Other than that, this is also one of the small one-liner current affairs. Ahmednagar will now be renamed Ahilya Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde announced that Ahmednagar city would be renamed as Ahilya. She is like 18th century Maratha queen Ahilyabai Holkar. So it is about respecting the public demand. So 298th birth anniversary of Maratha ruler who established Maheshwar, which is located in Madhya Pradesh now, as the seat of Holkar dynasty. To remembering this particular event, as per the demand of the public, Ahmednagar is going to rename as Ahilyanagar. So apart from that, we do have a little bit of information in other pages as well. I just want to give you that information also. One keyword I find today which may help you to understand. Yes, amend the law to make necrophilia as an offense, says High Court of Karnataka. Okay, necrophilia means it is about the habit of fascination towards the dead body, which is known as necrophilia. Recently, there was a case went to the court. 25-year-old woman got murdered, and after murder, she got raped by the person named called Rangaraju. Right, so trial court in Tumkuru, convicted him for murder and sexually assaulting her body after murdering her. So High Court confirmed his conviction for the murder, but it set aside the conviction on the charges of rape. What exactly they pointed out, the act of sexual assault on the dead body cannot be termed as rape under Section 377, that is unnatural sex, and 376 rape of the IPC. There is no provision to give verdict towards the necrophilia. So, what exactly the High Court recommended the Union government to add a provision for this necrophilia under this section of rape. That is what the context is about. So you got to know about what is necrophilia here, right? So moving towards the next article related to Bengal decides implementation of National Education Policy. Okay, NEP 2020 was introduced. Let us have a look of this particular article also, right? I missed that page number, but directly I'll explain you here. West Bengal has finally announced that college run and aided by the state government would implement the national education policy starting from this academic year 2023 to 2024. A decision that has drawn mixed reaction from the teachers as well. In this particular article, we are going to discuss about what is this national education policy of 2020. Remember, the cabinet ministry approved this education policy with a proper aim of reducing the several challenges that we do face in our Indian education system. We do face a lot of challenges. To reduce all those things only, this particular policy was introduced. Right. So the cabinet also coming up with the Ministry of Human Resource Development towards the Ministry of Education. Remember, this NEP is very important and it was cleared with only the third major revamp of framework of education. So here we need to understand a few key points regarding your NEP. The first, it's focusing on the school education. Okay, school education, right? Universalization of education was the important area here under the school education. The first thing is about preschool to secondary level with 100 percentage of gross enrollment ratio GER by 2030 is the first aim to bring around 2 crore out of school children back into the mainstream through the open schooling system. So the, you see currently 10 plus 12 system to be replaced by a new 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 curricular structure. Corresponding the age category also 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14 and 14 to 18 years respectively. Right, this is one of the important thing that from the childhood how you can focus on this. So Anganwadi as well as the board examination going to help for 10th and 12th and a lot of changes is going to happen in terms of that. So school governance is set to change in terms of accreditation framework as well. Vocational training, vocational training is focus area and to start from class 6th with the internship. Then teaching up to at least grade 5 in the mother tongue as well as their regional language and also 360-degree of holistic approach in terms of tracking their performance in the schools and also national curriculum framework for teacher education, that is NCFTE 2021 will be formulated by the NCTE, that is National Council for Teacher Education. Right, by 2030, minimum degree qualification for teaching will be 4-year integrated B.Ed degree. So these are all the major in terms of school education come under your NEP. About higher education gross enrollment ratio in higher education to be raised to 50 percentage by 2035. Also, 3.5 crore seats to be added in the higher education. If you want to know about the current enrollment, current gross enrollment ratio, which is 26.3 percentage, right? So, academic bank of credits, multidisciplinary education and research universities, National Research Foundation, all these were the areas to be focused under the higher education. Okay, right. Now coming to the other important thing, it is related to the digital initiatives as well, which is NETF, National Education Technology Forum. Okay, it's a free exchange of ideas related to the technology usage in the education, learning, assessment, planning, and administration as well. And also Parak. Parak is the national assessment has been created to assess the students. Then about Gender Inclusion Fund and also special education zones. Then National Institute of Pali Language, Persian and Prakrit. So Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation. So all these are the major importance under the NEP. And also remember, currently India spends around 4.6 percentage of its total GDP on education itself, right? So go through all this information and you can refer our government website related to this NEP as well. Moving towards the parliamentary democracy or an executive democracy editorial. See here, the problem why this particular debate came into existence. Last week, the new parliament building was inaugurated with both fanfare and controversy. In a particular, the exclusion of the President of India, the real, the formal head of the executive from the inauguration, and the symbolism around the symbol, a spectre. You know that very well because we already discussed that. So, what exactly here you want to focus is you just need to understand what is mean by this parliamentary democracy and executive democracy. Remember, executive democracy means executive we can call President of India, right? Can how enjoying the power. The parliamentary means all the ministries are responsible to the government, okay, because parliament is the one who's going to make a law. So India chooses parliamentary form of government primarily because the constitution makers were greatly influenced by the system of England. So I suggest you to read this article, and you can take it as a homework. Just read about the parliamentary democracy and executive democracy. If you have any kind of doubt related to this topic, kindly post your question in comment. After that, we will give you the proper answer for that particular question. It is considered as a homework. Just go through the article and read about parliament democracy and executive democracy. Remember, India is adopting the parliamentary form of democracy, but not executive, because president rule it is not there in India because it is not followed like America in our country. But we do have parliamentary system, so you need to read on your own, as take it as a homework, and come back with your questions in the comment section. Moving towards the next, it is related to the biodiversity. Okay, and very good article also. Biodiversity is us, and we are biodiversity. So the International Biodiversity Day, May 2022, was yet another reminder of the pivotal role of natural world play in resolving the climate change crisis. About this mainstreaming biodiversity is the major concern in terms of environmental degradation on the contemporary. How to nurture and manage biodiversity. Based on that, this particular article was written by Kamal Baba. So here, what we are going to take the important, thing is National Mission on Biodiversity and Human Well-being. What is this exactly? Which is very important for us as well. So in this context, we are going to discuss about significance of the India's biodiversity that comes under your National Mission on Biodiversity and Human Well-being. Right. The first one is about biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot. India is a home to nearly 8% of global biodiversity on just 2.3 percentage of global land area, and contains section of 4 of 36 global biodiversity hotspots, and also steering up the economic value. Steering up the economic value. Remember, the precise of economic value of all ecosystem need to be provided by the biodiversity. So further, it can be imagined how much greater this value with the grasslands, wetlands, wetlands, and you can take fresh water and marine can all add the value of economy as well, right? And protection from the natural disasters. About various ecosystem across the land, rivers, oceans feed our people, right? So enhance the public health security and shield us from the environmental disasters. Then about spiritual enrichment, our biodiversity also serves as the perpetual source of spiritual enrichment. Okay, intimately linked to our physical and mental well-being also. The vision is simple. This was launched by our Prime Minister 2008, in the year of 2008, which is known as PMSTIAC. PM STIAC. That is Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council. Prime Minister Science, Technology, Innovation Advisory Council, in consultation with the Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change and other ministries, approved the ambition of this national mission on biodiversity and human well-being. So the purpose is simple, to put a national effort that aim to transform the biodiversity science by linking into the people's economic prosperity. That is the major intention. So the mission will also help create a cadre of biodiversity science professional of sustain and secure Indian biodiversity as well. Right? So go through this article with add on this information as well. Right, and next one is about very interesting article which comes under your text and context. China's military diplomacy in Southeast Asia. Very interesting because see, about recent days there is a lot of initiatives taken by the China in terms of enhancing the engagement in the South Asian region. Right. So we'll start from Afghanistan. If you take Afghanistan, forwarded towards, I'm just giving you the information, you just make a note of this. Afghanistan, first one is Afghan. See, China was a part of trilateral, okay, China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan foreign ministers dialogue, which focuses on facilitating the Afghan domestic political reconciliation and trilateral discussion to agree to push forward the One Belt and One Road initiative, OBOR, or else we can call it as BRI. Okay, Belt and Road Initiative, and also to enhance the connectivity of CPEC. Okay, CPEC. Right, next one is about Bangladesh. China and Bangladesh pledged to deepen in terms of the defense cooperation, especially in the areas of defense industry, trade, training, equipment, and technology. China is also the largest supplier of arms of the Bangladesh military, providing 71.8 percentage weapons from 2008 to 2018. Just imagine that as well. Bhutan, you know very well, it is related, does not have any kind of diplomatic relations with China. Maldives, China relationship with Maldives exclusively focused on leveraging the BRI only, that is Belt Road Initiative. And Sri Lanka, you know about Sri Lanka handed over the Hambone Tota port on a 99-year lease to China to repay the loan back to China, right? So, Anbon is geostrategically located on the Indian Ocean, potentially bolstering the Beijing's, string of pearls. So, because of all this thing, three important concerns for our country. Because China's military diplomacy in Southeast Asia gives three important concerns for our country. One is about security concerns, right? Growing cooperation between Pakistan and China, increasing nexus between Nepal and China, acceptance to China Pakistan corridor. Okay, right. Next one is about leadership in the South Asia. South Asia leadership. Next one is about the economic concerns as well. So these are all the concerns for India in terms of getting rising influence of China in the South Asia, Southeast Asia. Okay, next important topic comes under your news page related to Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It is about treatment worth of 61,501 crore provided under this Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana scheme. Just go through the scheme and you know about very well what exactly the scheme is about. Ayushman Bharat, world's largest health insurance assurance scheme, fully financed by the government of India. It was launched in the month of February 2018, and offers around rupees 5 lakh per family for secondary care. Right under this particular yojana, cashless and paperless access to services are provided. So based on this article, cancer treatment, emergency care, orthopedic and urology, kidney related ailments top the tertiary care specialist treatment availed by beneficiaries under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan, Jan Arogya Yojana. Till date, so the data was released around 661,501 crore under the scheme was spent. Right. Next is about yesterday World Tobacco Day. OTT platforms mandated to show anti-tobacco warning, which was said by the Union Ministry of Health. Okay, based on the amendment rules under Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act, that is CODPA 2004. Right. Apart from that, it is again the cabinet note for second phase of cities. We discussed in the last session about smart city project and world largest grain storage plant. This we will discuss under PIB, Press Information Bureau. Okay, so these are all the important topic that you need to focus on the day. Add on to that, you can give a read over the topic related to Nepal's Prime Minister to hold talk with Modi today, likely to sign pacts on energy and trade. This Nepal and India relationship also we discussed already in the last session as well. Right, and Jaishankar to meet Lavrov when during the BRICS summit. For this, I just wanted to add on new one mapping question. External Affairs Minister is going to, meet South Africa and Namibia heads in terms of attending the BRICS. BRICS already we discussed in detail. Just here, South Africa and Namibia is the place in the news. So South Africa is sharing the border with the Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, four countries. Likewise, Namibia, okay, Namibia sharing border with, change the color for the differentiate. Namibia sharing the border with Angola, Zamibia, Botswana, and South Africa. So four countries. So just focus on this mapping for your reference as well. Clear? So these are all the topics that you need to focus on today's newspaper. So next, moving towards the Press Information Bureau. Right. So what is the first one? World's largest grain storage plant in cooperative sector. This recently the cabinet approved the constitution and empowerment of an interministerial committee for facilitate to store the grains in the cooperative sector. So this plan would be implemented by three important ministries such Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Ministry of Commerce, sorry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So these are all the three important ministries which implementing this particular sector. Okay, now functioning as a procurement centers of state agencies and Food Corporation of India, serving as FPS, fair price shops, setting up custom hiring centers and setting up common processing units, and including assaying, sorting, grading units for agriculture produce. So this topic, first topic of your PIB. Next one is about World Milk Day was celebrated 1st June today. Department of Animal Husbandry collaborate with the Agriculture Production Department of Jammu and Kashmir celebrate the day. This was there in your PIB, and to launch a campaign feeding the future, 5 days of action for feed and fooder and training of a help for 2023-2024 also launched. Okay, they are going to launch on this particular event and to raise awareness about the nutritional value. The purpose of celebrating this World Milk Day to raise awareness about the nutritional value and benefits of milk and recognizing the contribution of dairy farmers, processors, and consumers and foster meaningful discussion and exchange of ideas during the summer meet. Okay. Next, All India Radio. I have two important topic from that. Third Indian Vietnam Maritime Security Dialogue, which was held in New Delhi. So the Vietnam and India discussed how to sustain a secure maritime environment and also how to conductive inclusive growth of the same and also revived maritime cooperation initiatives as well. Right, this is one topic. Next topic is about the Indian G20 presidency. It is organizing the third employment working group, that is EWG meeting from today at International ILO, International Labour Organization headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. So it is a tradition since the inception of EWG to organize this working group at sidelines of the ILO's annual conference in Geneva. Here, what is the add-on information? ILO headquarters, Geneva, Switzerland. Last part of the discussion about your vocabulary. The first word is about abrogate, which means the act of formally ending a law or agreement or any custom, which already in the practice, which already in the provision, act of formally ending it, which is known as abrogate, stopping it. So synonyms, meaning of the word is abolish, cancel, nullify, overturn. And the antonyms enact, establish, legislate. Next word of the day is evanescent, soon passing out of sight, memory, or existence, quickly fading or disappearing. Forgetting you can keep in simple way. Evanescent means forgetting. Okay, right. Synonyms, right? Vanishing, fading, and fleeting. Antonyms: endless, eternal, and everlasting. Right. Crippled. Third word is crippled. Physically disabled, impaired, having a severe disability or injury. Right. Synonyms: disabled, handicapped, impaired. Antonyms: able-bodied and healthy. These are the three words for you. Comes under vocabulary of the day. So that's all for the day. And go through all the articles. As I said, editorial of two topic. Just take your homework. And if you have any question related to that, just put that into the comment box. Okay. See you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thank you.